We've talked at length before our session today about different ways that we see owners kind of moving from a inefficient state to a more efficient state after you've worked with them. And you and I are both honored to be able to work together with a client that we serve in our role and you serve in your role over the past many years, many years.
Right.
So I've seen and heard firsthand from them some of the things that you bring to the table, not just from the technical approach, but really that consulting background that you bring, helping them know how to implement the services that you offer through dental office support well within their practice and kind of tailor it. As you deal with dentists and practices around, where do you see owners wasting time?
Well, time is the big thing, isn't it? It's the one thing we can't get back.
Mm,
Someone said a long time ago that we need to redeem the time. And so
mm,
when I think about time, I think about, what we got to do to make the most of it. My grandmother used to get these S&H greenback stamps at the grocery store, and every few months we would go over to the S&H Greenback Redemption Center, and we would redeem those stamps for something of value. We would hand them the stamps over the counter. They would hand us back a baseball glove or a blender or something like that. Um, so when we talk about redeeming the time, we're talking about taking that time, something we have in one hand, and exchanging it for something in the other. And so wasting time becomes
mm.
a not only a loss, but it becomes a loss of opportunity. And when you waste time, you give something up, you give that time up, and it doesn't add to the mission, to the morale, to the maturation of the people, or to the margin. And unfortunately, the busiest person in the practice, usually the doctor, gets found squarely in the middle of those costly time wasting things.
Right.
So it's not that the doctor's in the lab playing Candy Crush on the phone or something like that. It's almost always around the matter of systems. So
Mm,
wasting time, either the doctor is the system, which pulls them into a never ending decision making process when they're trying to need to be doing other things, or there are multiple people in the practice running different systems, and that creates
mm,
inconsistencies that require the doctor's constant intervention. So instead of leading, a doctor, a practice owner, ends up answering questions or fixing problems that really shouldn't exist in the first place. And if you're in
mm,
the early years of your career, you can absorb a certain amount of that. But as you get closer to life's transitions, that inefficiency begins to be a compounding kind of thing. It starts draining not just time, but in doing so, it devalues all the things over which you have a responsibility for stewardship. So at the ground level, it feels like we're getting things done because we're making lots of decisions. We're doing this, we're doing that all
mhm.
day long. We're turning from this to that to this. It feels like we're really multitasking, but from
Right.
50,000 feet, it's clearly very inefficient.